I'm Julia, and you have landed on Pints and Plot Twists. This is my brand new YouTube channel, and I am so excited to be launching today. You can expect lots of thrills, chills, and probably some beer spills because we are going to be drinking on this channel. Before I get into today's video, I do want to introduce myself. This is my first ever YouTube video, so please bear with me. I am a little nervous. I'm usually behind the scenes. I work in capital markets, and I actually usually write for people to be on camera, and I'm on the other side. So please give me a little grace as I get used to being the one on screen. I am a mom, I am a major book hoarder, and I have a problem. These are all unread. And I also love craft beer. Give me a great IPA and I am a happy camper. So I figured we're gonna do some drinking and we're gonna do some reading, and we're gonna talk about all the books we have yet to read, all the books I've picked up recently, and some things I'm gonna be bringing with me on vacation, maybe some reading vlogs, all sorts of good stuff. As you can probably see, I love horror. Lots of horror here, lots of fantasy, sci-fi, some lit fic, and even the odd little romance thrown in. So very eclectic taste, but you're gonna see a lot of horror, a lot of fantasy, a lot of sci-fi here. So I'm really looking forward to talking about all of that. I have a kid, I have 2 cats, and I have a dog, and that dog will be making appearances on this channel. So Thunder, the Husky Shepherd Cross, he's gonna be around. You can also see him on my IG. He's there a lot. He's featured a lot. There are so many great book channels out there. I'm not competing, but this one's mine, and I do want to drink and I do want to enjoy. I want to talk about some great craft beers that we have. A lot of it's going to be Ontario based. That's where I am. I'm in Canada. And so let's, have a few bevies. Let's not stay completely sober, and let's talk about books. So today's video is not just about me, it's about what I want to read this year. I read 155 books last year, which is kind of insane. I did audiobooks, ebooks, and physical books, but my love is physical books. As you can tell, total horror, glutton for punishment. I love carrying these things around with me. I'm currently reading an 800-ish page book, and it's been back and forth to the office with me a couple of times, so that's been fun. So buckle up. Let's crack this beer. Today's drink is called A Van Full of Weirdos, because how much more appropriate can that be? It's my first video. I'm introducing myself. I'm introducing what I want to read, and so we're going with one of my absolute favorites. This beer is a hazy IPA, hazy juicy IPA. It is so good. It is from Refined Fool Brewing in Sarnia. You will see this one in my fridge most times when you're over at my place. Let's get into this. Some ASMR. Ooh, it's fizzing. So we have our delicious beer. Now we're gonna get into some of the books that I meant to read in 2025, but just didn't quite get around to. So these are 2025 releases. First up, we have The Unworthy by Agustina Bastarrica. So this is the newest from the author of Tender is the Flesh. And if you read Tender is the Flesh, you know what a creep show this book might be. Hopefully, we'll hope this lives up. It's a cult, post-apocalyptic religious horror, and I'm really excited about it. I understand maybe there's a bit of female rage in here. I like to go into books quite blind, so you're not gonna get deep summaries from me. Just gonna tell you why I want to read this book. Next up, another one I should have read last year but didn't quite get around to is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. And this is, I have no idea what this is about, by the way. This is a book that I should have read last year, but I didn't. But the reason that I want to read this book so badly is because it has topped so many people's best of lists for the year. So it was one of Indigo's best books. It was on a whole bunch of my friends' top lists. A bunch of booktubers love this book. So it's kind of the complete opposite of The Unworthy. I think it's a nice, heartwarming historical fiction romance. So I also have to read this book because it is my friend's copy and she wants it back. So probably gonna get to this sooner than later. The next books are Canadian fiction. So as I said, I am Canadian and I made it a point last year to read more Canadian books. So we're gonna keep that up this year. And we're gonna start with The Tiger and the Cosmonaut by Eddie Boudel Tan. He's a BC writer. So I have, again, no clue what this book is about, but when I saw it at the bookstore, something about it just spoke to my soul. Like, look at that cover. I don't know why that speaks to me so much. It's a motel swimming pool and it just really caught my attention, and then it landed on Indigo's best of the year. So I thought it was a great opportunity to read it. So looking forward to this one. I think it's a mystery, not sure. Finally, next Canadian book that I have is Red X by David Demchuk. And as I said, I'm Canadian and I grew up in Toronto. I grew up partying in the Village. I absolutely loved going down to Church Street, and that's where this book is actually set. And it sort of breaks the wall between fiction and reality. So David Demchuk, the author himself, actually also grew up hanging out in Church Street in the Village. And at the time, there was a serial killer stalking gay men. And his name is Bruce MacArthur. I'm sure you probably, if you haven't heard of him, it's kind of a crazy story, worth checking out, worth learning a bit about. He was caught. Thankfully, he is behind bars. But I grew up during this time, and so this one kind of really speaks to me. I've also heard it's very scary. But the author sort of, as I said, breaks the third wall and talks about his own experiences interwoven into this fictional story. So I'm really, really interested to read this one. Yes, that's a lot of information. I know I just said I'm not going to go deep into what books are about, but this one really kind of speaks to me on that really personal level. So we're going to read it. Next are some book club choices. So I have only picked 2. I am in 3 book clubs, a horror book club, a workbook club, and then my own one at home here. But I'm only going to talk about 2 of the picks so far. We haven't picked a lot of the books yet, so that will come later. But first up is Endling by Maria Riva. I am so excited to read this. This is for my workbook club in March, so I won't be reading it yet, but it is set in Ukraine in the lead up, and I believe in the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And it's a Canadian-Ukrainian author. I am very, very vocal pro-Ukraine advocate, so it's really important to me to not only support Ukraine in their war efforts and their defense efforts, but also to listen to the voices of Ukrainian Canadians. So I'm very excited to read this. I was so thrilled that we picked it for our book club at work. So this one, we'll probably get to it in February, March. Next up is White Horse by Erica T. Worth, and this is another horror book. I picked this one for my horror book club. We are doing a bingo card. So In the Void Book Club, big call out, big shout out to the In the Void Book Club. It's really awesome. But the call out is Indigenous fiction that is not Stephen Graham Jones, because we've all read a lot of Stephen Graham Jones. And if you didn't read The Buffalo Hunter last year, let this be your sign. Read it this year. It's phenomenal. I actually preferred Killer on the Road in the end, but that's okay. They were both really, really great. But I have not read any Erica Worth, and I do understand that she is an Aboriginal author, an American, and so I'm looking forward to picking this up. It's also in Mother Horror's 101 Horror Books to Read Before You're Murdered. So this is a great pick that'll fit the prompt, and we'll kick another book off that 101 list. Finally, my second last category is series, and oh boy, Iron Gold. I've not read it yet. I have read Red Rising, Morning Star, and Golden Sun 3 times now. I read them when they first came out, I read them again a year later, and then I just read them again last week. So they're fresh in my mind. I'm very scared of the emotional devastation that is to come. I understand this is gonna be rough. So worth it to get to Lightbringer, but I'm a little scared, so wish me luck. I'm finally biting the bullet and doing it. And finally, for series, I am determined to start the 5th season this year. So I've heard such wonderful things about N.K. Jemisin's writing. I do like a fantasy series as long as it's not too long and as long as it's well written and kind of that grand sweeping epic. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I am also trying to read some more BIPOC authors this year. I have never read a fantasy series by a person of color, and so I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I have now found a whole pile of amazing series by BIPOC authors, so I'm really looking forward to getting into some different stories. So the 5th season, again, no idea what this is about, but I understand the magic system is amazing, and I found the 3rd book at Value Village for like $6, so this is the first. The first was not $6, but we're gonna read it nonetheless. And finally, the 2026 releases I'm excited about. Boy, there are so many releases I'm really looking forward to, but these are just a few I am determined to read this year. So first up is a book called Obstetrics, and holy smokes, this cover is utterly terrifying. I mean, this sends shivers down my spine. It speaks to my soul. It is everything I'm terrified of. Religious horror and obstetrics and pregnancy and childbirth, terrifying. Yes, I have a child, but it still terrifies me. Cover, absolute 10 out of 10, and I was very lucky to get an advanced reader copy of this, so I am going to be reading it very shortly. I'm going to try and get a little closer to the actual release date before I do, but Obstetrics is out in June. Then the next one is Molka by Monica Kim, and I loved The Eyes Are the Best Part. It was such good feminine rage, so evocative of the experiences that we go through as young women, and so I just loved it, and I thought it was so unhinged. So I'm really looking forward to Molka. This cover, holy crap, it is crazy. And Molka means in Korean, I understand it means like a secret, like a hidden spy cam. So, ooh, that concept is so creepy and terrible, and I love every second of it. Beer break. Still so good. Next up is Deadweight by Hildur Knutsdatter. I'm hoping that I said that correctly. Another piece of translated fiction, I understand. It's an Icelandic author, and again, this is one that I read her earlier book. So she had a release out called The Night Guest, and oh, it was amazing. I devoured it. I think I read it in one sitting. I could not put this little book down, and it really redefined how I think about ambiguity in stories. Like, I thought that I was the kind of person that really wanted to know exactly every in and out of a story. I needed all the answers. And this book really threw me for a loop and made me sort of evaluate whether that is actually what I like in a book. So The Night Guest was incredible. I loved every second of it. And so I'm really excited for Deadweight. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. And my hopes are already high, so I'm going to hope they don't get dashed. And finally, look, cover. Look at Abyss. This looks insane. Abyss by Nicholas Binger, not sure yet, but oh my gosh, this makes my 9-to-5 corporate office heart so happy. If you have a 9-to-5 and you work in a grayish office like I do, and yes, grayish is a thing. It's when you can't decide whether it's actually gray or it's actually beige. It's just somewhere straddling in that in between. Or if you've gone to too many HR trainings that are all preppy and poppy and happy, this might be the book for you. Cosmic horror in an office building. I love this. And oh, this cover is so creepy. Oh, I just want to eat it up. I'm so looking forward to this book. So those are my 12 picks for 2026. But as I said, I'm such a mood reader. I have actually picked 5 books to read in January. And as of filming, it is January 25th. And I have read 0 of the 5. I've read 12 books. Not one of them was the one were the ones I was supposed to. Though Eye of the Bedlam Bride, I am most of the way through. So by the time I post this video, I will have finished the Eye of the Bedlam Bride. It is amazing. I am a dungeon crawler Carl stan. Trust me. Carl and I were meant to be. I also am partway through Philip Fracasse's Boys in the Valley. So I will be finished that one shortly too, probably by filming. So I'm going to try and sneak in one more this month of these picks, and it's Sentinel, Drew Starling. It's an indie pub, and I, once again, have no idea what it's about, but ooh, it looks creepy, and Drew was lovely. I met him at DreadCon last year, so really looking forward to, I love picking up indie fiction, especially Canadian indie stuff, so really looking forward to Sentinel as well. Probably not gonna happen in January, but we have American Rapture by CJ Lead. Mayfly was one of my all-time favorite books. Mayfly is so beyond unhinged, and I loved every second of it. I ate that book up. I loved Maeve. I loved the juxtaposition of a nice princess and a serial killer, so it was amazing. Super looking forward to American Rapture. But am I gonna read it in January? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And finally, the last book I picked for January was The Changeling by Victor LaValle. I've heard amazing things about this, but am I gonna read it in January? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll try, but I doubt it. Maybe we'll switch it to a February pick. I have heard wonderful things about this. I absolutely loved The Ballad of Black Tom. It was so good. It was so well written. It was so fascinating. I loved the character of Tom. I loved the ambiguity again. So rewiring my brain to say, maybe I don't need all the answers in the end. So those were the picks for January that I did not read. And some honorable mentions to some things I would also like to read this year, but that are not necessities. So we'll see if we get there or not. The Thursday Murder Club. I have not read these yet. I've heard wonderful things, not so much about the movie, but about the books. So definitely looking to get into this series a little bit. I have my next library pick because, you know, I buy so many books, I have book clubs, and then I also just randomly pick stuff up at the library when I feel like it. So Audition by Katie Kitamura. No idea what this one's about, but I've heard really good things, and also I like the cover. It's like just a little guy. So we're gonna pick this baby up soon. And finally, for honorable mentions for 2026, My Best Friend's Exorcism. I have read most of Grady Hendrix's other books. I have not read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls yet, though, so we'll see how that goes. But I love this 80s nostalgia so much. I'm really hoping that this evokes the 80s well, because I've read some recently that did not. I'm looking at you, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Anyways, hoping that we get the great 80s nostalgia going on here. So those are my for sures, my January books, and what I want to maybe, hopefully, try and get to this year. Hi, future Julia here. What would a first YouTube video be without some technical issues? So I had some corrupted footage, so it's 2 days later, and here I am again, signing off. Obviously, I finished my van full of Weirdos the other night, so tonight I'm drinking Working Hard New England IPA from Muddy York Brewing in Toronto. It's a New England IPA. It's a little less juicy, I would say, than the van full of Weirdos, but still very, very tasty. And I have been working very hard today, so I deserve it. It's a balm to the soul when you screw up your first YouTube video, right? Anyways, wish me luck for the next video. I'll be talking about the books I'm bringing on vacation and what you might want to bring on vacation as well. And I'll be drinking some more great beers. So I hope you will join me again. Thank you for watching all the way through this video. Please give me a like. It was my first one. I'm going to talk a little more about plot in the next one. So I hope you will come back for another chapter. Cheers.